Happy Pride, Washington, D.C. Now that was okay. Turn to somebody and tell them Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride, D.C. My fellow advocates for justice and human rights, good afternoon and happy first day of Pride Month. We are here, y'all. We are here. We are here. We're here to make some history. Today we gather at this Wilson building as a community of resilient people, united by our shared journey towards equality and liberation. My name is Reverend Dr. Aaron B. Wade, and I stand before you as a proud queer leader here in the district. I'm honored to serve as the vice chair of the Mayoral Advisory Committee for LGBTQ affairs. I am also the founder and pastor emeritus of the Community Church of Washington, D.C. United Church of Christ. And I also happen to serve as the CEO of Empowerment Enterprise 2, a nonprofit organization here in the district dedicated to empowering people and transforming communities. I am humbled and thrilled to be in the midst today. In the face of a world that is still grappling with prejudice and discrimination, we gather today to raise this flag, the rainbow flag, a symbol of hope, a symbol of love and resilience, for the very first time here at our State House. This flag matters because it represents the struggle and the triumph of the LGBTQIA community, a community that has faced marginalization and adversity for far too long. Today we stand here in the district, a place that has become a beacon of light, leading the way in respect, equality, and justice for all of our citizens. Friends, this is a historic moment for our community, not just here in the district, but for every marginalized individual who has fought tirelessly for acceptance and equality. While some states' leadership thinks that they will erase us and silence us by continuing to enact racist, sexist, and homophobic legislation, we as an LGBTQ+A community will not be erased. Somebody say, the District of Columbia stands tall and refuses to succumb to forces of discrimination. Instead, our city has become a shining example of how to respect and promote justice for all. Let us, we the people, continue to advocate, educate, and amplify our voices so that we are heard. Let us stand together as a united force fighting against discrimination in all of its forms. Dr. King said it best, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. In preparation for introducing our esteemed mayor, I would also like to first acknowledge the dedicated efforts of Director Japer Bowles, who leads the office of LGBTQ affairs here in the district. We are grateful for your tireless voice and the work that you do day in and day out to ensure that we are represented and visible. Thank you. And now, it is my honor to introduce a leader whose dedication and vision have propelled our city forward, ensuring that every agency and space in this city is inclusive, diverse, equitable, and accessible. I'm talking about Madam Mayor Bowser. Thank you for being at the forefront of creating change and leadership not only in this nation's capital, but the nation at large, setting an example for how we do it. And last but not least, I'll say this, Madam Mayor, folk will always talk, but we thank you for standing up and being a beacon of hope. We stand with you because you stand with us.
Well, let's hear it for the Reverend Dr. Wade. Well, happy Pride, everybody. We're so happy to welcome you to our City Hall, our State House, to represent our DC values. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of the best city in the world. Also, the gayest city in the world. We just wrapped up a week of Black Pride celebrations in Washington, D.C., and we are happy to be here today at the start of Pride Month as we celebrate and protect our LGBTQIA plus community in Washington, D.C. I, too, want to thank our team in D.C. government, starting with Director Bowles, leading the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs, for helping to gather us here today. But Dr. Wade was correct in saying standing up and protecting and advancing LGBTQ initiatives, protections, and values in D.C. is a whole of government approach. It is everyone's responsibility. I am proud today to celebrate that message that we send across our city, our nation, and our world. We do it in our programs and services. We do it in our initiatives. We do it in our schools. So no, we won't be banning books in Washington, D.C. We will be celebrating our culture. And if Disney needs another East Coast location, I think we have some space for them. And I'm not kidding. So we know that there is and will continue to be, more than likely in this election process that's upcoming for our nation, a lot of rhetoric. We know that some people are going to be advancing really scary legislation. And that's why I am proud to be standing with our Attorney General, Brian Schwab. Let's hear it for Brian. And the members of our state legislature, starting with our chairman of the council, Phil Mendelson, Zachary Parker, and also Kenyon McDuffie, along with all of the members of the council, Charles Allen, Anita Bonds, because they represented a council that has been on the forefront for decades of making sure that we have the type of legislation in our city that protects all Washingtonians. And in just a couple of years, we're going to be welcoming the entire world for World Pride 2025. Who's going to be here for World Pride? It's going to be a lot of people here from World Pride, and we're going to spend every month leading up to it making sure that our city is ready to showcase our neighborhoods, our people, and how we have been progressive in our programs and services. So we're going to be here for every day working on the issues that protect Washingtonians. So today we're going to raise the flag. That's important, right? It's historic. But as we raise a flag, it is historic, but it is a symbol. It is a symbol of the work that we have to do to also raise awareness, to make sure that we're fighting against hate on our streets, in our homes, in our language, and in our interactions with one another. We also have to raise more opportunities. Because while we're celebrating Pride, we also know that there are people who are left behind. And we have to work for more job opportunities and more inclusivity. We also have to raise our expectations about how we can provide more affordable housing in our city across all 8 wards and for everybody, whether you're a young person who needs a home or you're a senior who wants inclusive housing. So we're going to buckle up. We're going to get the job done, and we're going to celebrate raising this flag, celebrate Pride all month, and work together every single day. So with that, I want to introduce Japer. We're going to hear from our Attorney General and our council members. Thank you.
All right. Greetings, friends, family, and community members. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for your leadership, your guidance, and support. This city is a leader in LGBTQIA rights and resources, in part because of your vision, your partnership, and our trust in the community. I am Japer Bowles. I have the honor of serving you, our LGBTQIA plus community, as the director of the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs for the 51st state, Washington, D.C. D.C. is home to the highest percentage of LGBTQIA plus folks in the nation. We are proudly celebrating 48 years of Capitol Pride, and we are the founding city for Black Pride. And as the mayor said, in 2025, we will showcase to the world why we are the District of Pride as we host millions of visitors to our beautiful city for World Pride 2025. Our community is strong. You can feel the energy here right now. So let's harness that energy in the spirit of Pride Month to ignite change, to amplify the voices of the marginalized, and to build bridges of understanding and empathy. As was previously said, Pride celebration began a couple weeks ago at Trans Pride. Black Pride was also a huge success, and in the coming days and weeks, we will see more rainbows and pride in this city than ever before. I want you to know, I know you're excited. I'm clearly also very excited.
We love it.
We also know that you all have put in a year's worth of events and programming and messaging into a month, into a week, into a weekend, into a day, into a moment. And I'm so proud of you. We also know you're nervous about safety, real or perceived. I am too. But just know that we are here with you in the good and the bad. Today is more than about a colorful material being flown next to a granite and marble building. It's a display and a showcase to the nearly 700,000 residents that live in D.C., the nearly 19 million tourists and visitors, the 170 plus embassies, including the 50 plus that have anti-LGBTQ laws back in their home, and to the leaders of the free world down the street and right across the street that D.C. empowers, honors, and celebrates the LGBTQIA plus community. Yes, we have much more work to do, especially nationally, but today I'm proud to stand with you and to confidently state that D.C. is the District of Pride. So now I want to introduce our Attorney General, Brian Schwab, for his remarks. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy Pride, and we'll see you all month long.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. What a beautiful, beautiful first day of June, and I think it's only appropriate that we start this Pride Month with the best that Washington has to offer in terms of a beautiful day to be together. Mayor Bowser, Director Bowles, Chairman Mendelson, members of the council, I'm really delighted to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm really happy to be here on a day that we unfurl this beautiful flag here at the Wilson Building to celebrate the vibrant tapestry of love, of resilience, of inclusiveness and diversity that reflects what is best in Washington, D.C. The flag reminds me, it reminds all of us that every color, every shape, every shade has a unique identity and quality, its own identity to celebrate. And it also reminds me that when we come together as a diverse community, we are even stronger and better than when we're by ourselves. As your elected independent Attorney General, as a third-generation Washingtonian, I am so proud of our city. I'm so proud to be a Washingtonian because we are a community that celebrates diversity and inclusion and recognizes that our strength is in our differences as we come together, enhanced by being inclusive. We celebrate our strength this month and all month, the month of June, Pride Month. But while we recognize this as the 48th year of Capitol Pride in our city, we still have to recognize that the fight for equality and acceptance is far from over. Your Office of Attorney General, I promise you, is working hard every day to use the law to protect D.C. core values, to stand against forces of hate, intolerance, discrimination that unfortunately are far too common in our country today, and that more and more frequently find their way here to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. We are aggressively enforcing our Human Rights Act, our anti-discrimination statute that's one of the best, broadest, and most effective in the country. And we recognize that the struggle for LGBTQIA plus rights is intersected with, inextricably, with our fight for justice across the scope of what we have to fight for. Our office has been a leading voice nationally, fighting back against a tidal wave of anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ legislation in other states. We've been a leading voice, for example, with 17 other states in fighting against Florida's Don't Say Gay law. We filed amicus briefs fighting for trans students' rights to access facilities and athletic programs that are consistent with their gender identity. And we've been fighting to protect access to gender-affirming care, particularly for young people. Recently, we signed on to a multi-state effort to urge the FDA to change a long-standing discriminatory practice of discriminating against gay men who want to donate blood. And fortunately, the FDA very recently implemented the changes we advocated for it. At OAG, we're going to continue to stand up and fight for the rights that propel us towards a brighter, more inclusive, better future for our country and our city. And our work is far from complete. Even in a progressive city like ours, LGBTQIA plus people still endure discrimination, hate, violence, and hate speech. And that is unacceptable. We have to continue to be catalysts for change here in Washington, using the law and using our collective power to create the world, to create the community we want and we deserve. And we can do that here together. We all deserve, every district resident, every district visitor deserves to live, learn, work, play, and love in a place unburdened by fear and prejudice. And in our quest for justice, we often focus on the external forces needed that we need to dismantle to create the world we want to have. And while it's crucial to keep doing that, all of us, all of your elected officials need to also look internally. We have to have the courage to be accountable to ourselves and to acknowledge where we have our own biases. And it's only through that kind of introspection and self-awareness that we can truly, truly change, all of us, as a community that we want to be. Accountability is the cornerstone of progress. And it is something that all of us as elected officials are accountable to you. And I encourage you to keep holding us accountable to create the community that we want to have. So may this be a month of great celebration, reflection, and unwavering determination. It's not confined to the single month of June. I know it's a lifelong, year-long commitment. But together, we're going to continue to fight every day to make D.C. the reflection of what it can be and what it is, what it means to be free, equal, and proud every day. Thank you, and happy Pride.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. And now I am proud to introduce the chairman of the D.C. Council. The council's been kind of busy this week approving a balanced budget for Washington, D.C. And so let me congratulate them on their work and introduce Chairman Mendelson.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Good afternoon. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said, and there are a lot of you who are standing and a lot of you who are standing, and there are a few more politicians after me, so I'm not going to be very long. I do want to acknowledge my colleagues, and I think each of them is going to speak briefly in this order, and they'll introduce each other. I think Councilmember McDuffie at large, Councilmember Parker, Zachary Parker from Ward 5, Councilmember Allen from Ward 6, Councilmember Bonds at large. I believe that's all the council members who are here so far. So each of them will speak briefly. I come to this event, as I do events like this every year, to celebrate. The District of Columbia, the government, the mayor, the council very much celebrates and affirms the diversity that is in our city. It makes our city richer, more valuable, our experience individually, collectively, much better. We celebrate that diversity, and Pride Month is an occasion to celebrate that diversity. And that's why we're raising this flag today at the Wilson Building at our state capitol. But as other speakers have said, and I'm sure speakers after me will note, minority rights are under attack in this country, across this country. And so this is not just a celebratory occasion, but also, in my view, an occasion to rededicate, to accept that, unfortunately, to accept that the accomplishments we've had in this city and in this country are precious and are not necessarily forever unless we rededicate ourselves to continuing to fight for those. I thought 13 years ago when we adopted marriage equality in the city, and then a few years after that when the Supreme Court struck down or affirmed or allowed marriage equality to be the law across the country, that we had reached the mountaintop. But we see clearly from state after state that that's not the case. And so today is a day to reflect on, remember, and as I said, to rededicate our commitment to fighting for equality, for LGBTQ rights across this country. That this is not just a District of Columbia right, but it is a national right. The flag symbolizes our commitment, the district's commitment, to pushing back against these backward-looking policies in other states and declare that the district is a safe space to live our lives in peace and safety. But as I said, also to rededicate ourselves to the fight for rights, for equality, for all. And with that, let me introduce my colleague, Kenyon McDuffie, the Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Chairman Mendelson. Happy Pride! Oh, I'm so delighted to be here with you all to celebrate, Japer, this historic moment of raising this flag. This is indeed a symbol, but it is a powerful symbol about what the District of Columbia values. You often hear Mayor Bowser talk about DC values. And this flag is going to help demonstrate and represent exactly what we mean when we talk about DC values. In case people don't know, all those 19 million visitors that come across the District of Columbia throughout the course of the year have the opportunity to learn something. And this month, they're going to learn that DC stands for love, DC stands for fairness, DC stands for justice, DC stands for inclusion. But there's still some places around this country where they are not so kind to members of the LGBTQIA plus community. In fact, there are places where they're banning books that talk about that rich community, that culture, the people. You know, I have one simple message for all those folks who live in those places. DC is open and we welcome you here. Come to the District of Columbia where you can live, work, raise a family, and play. I love you all. God bless you all. Happy Pride! Now I get the opportunity to welcome my successor to the seat that represents 80,000 residents of Ward 5. And if you all know his name, it's the best ward in the entire District of Columbia. If you know his name, you better get loud. Let's welcome Ward 5 Council Member Zachary Parker.
Good afternoon, DC. Good afternoon, DC. It is great to have all three branches of our government represented to mark this occasion, which just represents how significant this symbol, as has been discussed, is for our city. I'm going to be brief to prove the chairman wrong, but I do want to take this moment to recognize Mayor Bowser and thank you for your tireless leadership. Attorney General Schwab, thank you for being here, and my colleagues on the council led by Chairman Mendelson. Today we remember that Pride celebrates the ongoing representation of our community, and it originated in the 60s as a protest against brutality on our community from government officials, namely the police. In the 60s, Pride Month started as trans women, notably led by black trans women, pushed back and spoke out. While we enjoy the freedom of raising this flag without fear or of such backlash today, may we never forget the origins of this month and the courageous resistance that the LGBTQIA plus community has always displayed. At a time, as has been mentioned, when our country is facing alarming introductions of anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation, putting our trans neighbors in danger, making LGBTQIA plus youth fearful and isolated, and attempting to set us back, DC is making it clear that we are home for everyone, regardless of who you love or how you identify. We raise this flag as a city to make it clear where we stand. You, young gay man, are welcome here. You, trans student, are welcome here. You, queer senior resident, are welcome here. This flag says we are here for you and we are with you. DC is the gayest city in the world, as our mayor likes to say. I'm still in that one. And I am excited for us to host World Pride in 2025 and to showcase our continued leadership on LGBTQIA plus issues. Finally, I look forward to working with my colleagues to establish the Black Queer History Commission that I was proud to introduce just this month, as we work to preserve the history of black queer people and all queer people in the District of Columbia. DC is well positioned to lead the way in collecting and preserving our history, and in doing so, we will continue to lead the way in building the future we want to see. As James Baldwin famously wrote, history is not the past, it is the present. We carry our history with us because we are the history. Again, this flag and this ceremony is not just a symbol. They are themselves a continued courageous resistance of LGBTQI plus neighbors and the ever alive protest that started so many years ago. Happy Pride, DC. Thank you. And so with that, I'm proud to introduce my Ward 6 colleague, Charles Allen. Wait, no, let's do that again. I'm going to introduce my Ward 6 colleague, Charles Allen.
Happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride. All right, how many times have you heard, I'll be brief? All right, so when you're towards the end of the lineup and there's a historic flag to be unfurled, you really will be brief. I'm very, very proud to be here and to stand with the community here. I want to thank the mayor for walking the walk. I want to thank the Attorney General who takes it to the courts and fights the fight. And I want to thank the chairman and my colleagues who know how to make sure that our laws are the best laws in this country to protect our communities. You've heard a lot about the 19 million people that are going to come in here. I'm going to share just a quick story about two of those 19 million. A couple of years ago, I was taking a stroll during the Pride Festival on Pennsylvania Avenue, and I ran into a couple that was walking down the street, and they weren't from here. They were from one of those southern states, starts with an A, ends in an A. But I started having a conversation and welcome them to the district, and turns out they're from Huntsville, and they talk a little about why they came to the district. And I said, you know, we're so glad to have you here for the Pride Festival, but what brings you here to D.C.? And they said to me, this is the only place we can be us. This is the only place, because back home we can't be us, but we can be here in the district. And that has stayed with me. That short conversation, I don't even know their names, but having that short conversation on Pennsylvania Avenue, it tells me that our love and our laws here in the District of Columbia are worth fighting for. And I'm incredibly proud that we've got a mayor, an attorney general, a council that will fight tooth and nail day in and day out to protect the love and the laws that make the district so great. So thank you all so much, and happy Pride. With that, I'm now going to introduce my at-large colleague, Councilor Anita Bonds.
Hey, all right. Well, listen, so much has been said, and I could say thank you very much and then just walk away from this mic. But you know how we are. We like to talk. And I did make a few notes, but more importantly, I really think this is such an honor for our city to have a flag, our own flag. Isn't it beautiful? It is gorgeous. And I think we are here to show our pride in the pride that we are expressing each and every day through the work that we do in our communities, the people that we love, the people we show respect to. So I want to end on a very positive note. A lot has been said about where we have been as a community, where the country is going or tries to go here and there. But most importantly, it's about the love that we show to each other, the fact that we make it clear that this land is our land, the land of everyone who wants to be a part of the District of Columbia. Every visitor we welcome, irrespective of what anyone may say about whether you're from a state where it has A at the beginning or A at the end. It's about love, it's about respect, and it's about the dignity of we as a people, particularly here in the District of Columbia. So I hope as you celebrate, you'll also remember who you are, and you'll remember all your neighbors, and invite everyone to be a part of this wonderful society that we are building and continue to work through here in the District of Columbia. Happy Pride. Let's love this flag, and let's be excited because this is history, and it's ours. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to have the participants and the mayor. We're going to carefully walk down the steps here and get in line to hoist this flag up. This is you, man. All right, you got it. There you go. Yeah, we just need some wind. Come on, wind. What happened? I'm trying to come on, wind.
There we go.
There we go. There you go. A woman's touch.